helm for France. Full throttle end to his time in his tenure as France's head coach at the end of the tournament. Not an empty seat in the house in Philadelphia. What a sight this is. And what is a landmark day in the history of one of the 2026 co-hosts, America. A patient wait from the players on either side. But now the countdown starts in Philadelphia.
Wow.
The hottest recorded World Cup match, and Paraguay and France who clash for a place in the quarterfinals and a tie with Morocco in Boston. Well, we've mentioned the heat over and over and over again, Brian Dunseth. You will not be inside today.
Well, for France, we know it's about athleticism and star power matched together with freedom from Didier Deschamps to allow interpretation of space as well as the tactical acumen and intelligence of his side. For Paraguay, I love the quote, "We're dancing to the music of our opponent's style of play." Now they got to figure out the margins of success.
Well, absolutely. Dembele and struck away from the feet of France's main man, Kylian Mbappe. 18 goals in 18 World Cup appearances. It is a truly remarkable ratio. Olise to make his own history tonight, yet to feature on the score sheet himself, but 5 assists, and second on the record. One more today would take him level with Pele. Dembele. No surprise to see France wanting to control the ball in the early stages of this game, despite that spurt forward from Julio Enciso.
18 goals for just 2 conceded. I've always been impressed with how quickly France looks to win that first ball, potentially even that second ball, that the opponent tries to dictate some type of passing pattern out of their own defensive third. A concerted effort and focus for the urgency to win the ball back as quickly as possible.
Look at Caceres there, and it will be the wide man for Paraguay who will be doing plenty of work through this game. Meccano. Olise sits one way than the other. He's so elegant on the ball. That's all his talking on the pitch, doesn't he really? Rabiot. Kadeen. Meccano. Is Olise. Conjure up here, magic in his boots.
Already the freedom as he flies out to that right-hand side. Ousmane Dembele has gone centrally. Kylian Mbappe finds himself just outside the penalty area.
High, quick ball, it's headed away. Paraguay have a man down in the area. Quickly, he's back to his feet. And it will be Diego Gomez. Tries to bring it away through Miguel Almiron. One back by France quickly.
These are the early moments where Julio Enciso, despite not having that physical presence and dealing with the size and strength and intelligence of this French back line. The challenge is for Gustavo Alvaro to figure out a pragmatic system that gives him the balance and the control defensively, while in transition moments, can they have a little bit of directness, a little bit of verticality, but also understanding the challenge for Julio Enciso to hold the ball up in really important moments. Catch up to him.
Goalkeeper. Around the back line. His honesty was appreciated in the press conference. How often do we hear managers come out ahead of big games and say, it's just another game, we'll treat it just like any other game? His honesty and his praise for France, he knows where his team stands. A clash of David and Goliath here.
Well, and the understanding that the last time we saw a very similar formation, it was with Miggy Almiron suspended after the hand-to-mouth coverage in the second half heading into Turkey. So today it's a little bit differently, and you think about with Galarza, you think about Miggy Almiron, you think about Julio Enciso, and that trifecta up top. How dangerous can they be in transition moments? But the reality is that talent and passion and the idea of they're not supposed to be here, there's a weird pressure when we talk about the idea of performance on an afternoon like this, especially after sending Germany home after penalties in the previous match.
Buckler. Cruzes out. Can't bring the ball away. They've been nipping at the heels at times of France. It's a quick touch from Julio Enciso. Most places football in France. Dembele. Weighted ball looking towards Michael Olise. Ballon d'Or winner once again. It is frightening, this French front line. And that is exactly why. Cadine. Corner for France, the first of the game.
And part of the obvious talent level of that man, Kylian Mbappe, how quickly the quick step over the burst, the nutmeg, right through the feet of Diego Gomez. And as important as the challenge of the outside defenders to stay with their runs.
Oh, faced in, there was pace on it. Madrid man, back to his feet.
Oh, it's evident and clear what he wants the second run coming out of the midfield. Rabiot will have this freedom a little bit more tilted to the left-hand side.
It has been one-way traffic so far. 8 minutes on the clock. Corner. No. Ricardo. Rabiot. AC Milan. Ricardo. Teasing the lurch of Julio Enciso. Sellers. Enciso. Here's Almiron. And he's football back at Atlanta United. Climbing the Premier League with Newcastle. Dembele. Champions League winner with Paris Saint-Germain. They are serial winners in this team. Barcola. It's Mbappe. Cornick. Dembele. It has all been France. Can they find the own goal? It's headed up high. Back down, will continue to be a scramble. 4-0 given by the referee.
Scosser has to put a body on Adrien Rabiot, and he immediately looked to the referee in hopes to garner a little bit more of the tension.
This is the ball in, it took a deflection on the way through. It's back to the Aston Villa man's feet. Mbappe.
Well, again, there'll be a freedom for this French side to figure out a way to interpret space, the opportunity to take advantage of the chances, and right there, a good look at the physicality that, you know, from the opening whistle, Paraguay at times is going to have to rely upon, whether it's disciplined, gritty performances, or it's just pure tactics to frustrate the opponents. But this is where Julian Ciso needs more help. He's isolated by himself. There's a good 10 to 15 yards separating him from the three midfielders directly underneath. And that's the unique balance that Paraguay has to find throughout the course of this 90 minutes.
Yeah, he does cut a lone figure. There's Lise on his feet. There's Dembele. Corner. Be so happy with this France. Ball over the top. It's a little bit too far ahead of Barcola, who raises one hand in thanks to his teammates.
Well, the challenge of playing flat three in the back is you're really composed about the space and the ideas of responsibility, but it's when those underlying runs or secondary runs popping through the midfield, that's what's going to test this back line, specific as they try to creep up a little bit further outside of their penalty area. So the challenge, Ellen, is to get better pressure on the player that's serving the ball, looking for those fine little margins, trying to split the center backs with secondary runs.
How about this for a stats? 115 passes completed so far for France, and Paraguay have only had 7.
Throughout the course of this tournament, Ellen, just 31.2% possession for Paraguay, second lowest so far in the 2026 World Cup, as Galarza tips himself in centrally. It's a little bit of a swipe, nothing more, nothing less, but an important set-piece opportunity, something that France has to pay attention to. In the run of play, they're not going to get a lot of chances. They're not going to be as clinical at times as they want, but they certainly have some big bodies on set-piece opportunities and corners that they'll look to rely upon to create goal-scoring opportunities.
Well, they know how to suffer, don't they? Only 25% of the possession against Germany, outshot 21-7, but still found a way through after penalties. Eyes on Almirov. Ball's flung in and cleared away, and here's Aluso now. Has plenty of space to roam into. Just caught it a touch late, but it's back to his feet. Aluso. Here's Lucadine. Saliba. Now watching on, Arsene Wenger, serving as FIFA's chief of global football development since 2019. Randall Hill, what a story he has, having to sell his his old kit from his time in Paraguay's youth setup to fund care for his child who was born prematurely. Been a real hero at times for Paraguay this tournament. They have an excellent support in this stadium. It really has carried them such a way, as Alonso was talking about in the press conference yesterday. I know you previously spent time in France with Lille. Here's Elise. Saliba. Kone now. Dembele. France have been in control from the get-go. Almost 15 minutes on the clock, still goalless. Can he change that? Creates the space. Rabiot, Dina, and straight into the palms of Orlando Hill.
Again, we've seen balance, we've seen flexibility, and we've seen a certain amount of efficiency in the final third. As important as the weight of the pass and the variation of service, it's going to be the movement off the ball to try to just upset the spatial awareness for Paraguay. On the flip side, for Gustavo Alfaro, you take away that 4-1 loss in the opening match against the United States. They conceded just one goal. A 1-0 win against Turkey, 0-0 against Australia, 1-1 against Germany. That forced them to penalties in the 4-3 win in the round of 32. But it really has been results over aesthetics. And since Alvaro took over Paraguay on the backside of Copa America, it's a team that gave up just 7 goals in 13 matches. And points-wise, was as efficient as Argentina in the same time.
Well, that's what he said when he joined in 2024 after taking Ecuador to the group stage in 2022. The chance to open up here for Elise, he's pinging around and then he's headed away, not completely to safety, away now into the arms of Orlando Hill. He said he wanted to bring Paraguay DNA, intensity, clean sheets, and they do match France for clean sheets up to this point in the tournament.
As important as the balance defensively in that kind of attacking phase of play. You think about Galarza, you think about Almiron and Julio and Ciso. But you also think about the substitution pattern. You think about the chess match in that second 45 minutes, more specifically around the hour mark.
Over the top. Stretching. Might get there. Kylian Mbappe.
Was intelligent with his movement and how quickly they linked up and over the top, verticality and just out of the reach. As Kylian Mbappe, one of the most explosive players, creating space against virtually any center back that he comes up against.
It's so interesting watching him in the warm-up. He was talking to his teammates at every opportunity, and you felt like they were words that were certainly inspired. He's a man who's been there, done it, and has the trophy cabinet and the individual awards, of course, as well as the World Cup to boot. Here's Elise. Here's the corner. Second of the game. Taken quickly. Belly. They've been so confined so far. Ronaldo.
18 minutes in. I string together 4 or 5 passes and alleviate some of the early incessant pressure that we've seen from France the moment that they turn the ball over and are looking to recover higher up the field. For Didier Deschamps, they're always going to be an emphasis on trying to recover the ball as quickly as possible in the attacking phase of play to minimize the distance between themselves and the opponent's goals. Cáceres comes together and Barcola, he's not trying to get a piece of him, but he does swing through and The bar's been set early from the referee in terms of challenges and what is worthy of a yellow card.
Sellers now back to his feet. He's not happy with that decision for the Deschamps.
It also goes back to that mentality of back in the day, the first challenge was never worthy of a yellow card, but the game has changed and the modern refereeing is taking a different approach. And in games as massive of the magnitude of these two battling for a place in Foxborough on July 9th, you have to understand that there is a gray area that you can operate in, and some referees are going to allow the game to find its own rhythm. Fantashev has made an early statement less than 20 minutes in.
Slight move the ball there for Miguel Almiron. Long looking for Diego Gomez. And starting lineup after the suspension against Germany. Still goalless, 20 minutes on the clock. The upper levels of the Philadelphia. There's a huge crowd of French fans who are bouncing. They're to their feet to encourage their team. It's been a commanding performance so far in terms of the possession. All very one-sided. Way of France, still yet to see the opening goal. 37 degrees Celsius is the temperature. It's the hottest recorded World Cup match in history. The positioning from Miguel Almiron and Caceres. Caceres, who previously spent time in the Boca Juniors Academy. Lurking is Enciso. He does battle for every ball as Paraguay looks at fashion a chance, but it quickly fizzles out.
An excellent job from Julio Enciso right there as he goes to the ground. He lays himself off. He gets a toe poke, and the idea of trying to keep possession with quick combination, finding Galarza.
Dembele. Steps on, has a look for goal himself. Orlando Hills it, rooted to the spot.
And the wonder for Hill how much he saw that, or if his sideline was a bit manipulated by the players in front of him. Take a look from the referee view, the turn, maybe less preferred left foot, heavy deflection on the way in off Gustavo Gomez, and out for another corner in this first half for France.
That was the longest wait this World Cup for a shot. And the ball's hit in with power from Dembele. Dembele. 20 minutes we had to wait without a shot, and the wait is over. The wait for a goal does continue. Cornick. There's Rabiot. The ball just headed out the path of Dembele. It will go out for another corner. France is 4 for the game.
France is doing an incredible job the moment that ball is in play in terms of competition and the attacking phase. Just challenging for the first ball. More importantly, how winning the second ball continuously.
So the pressure mounting and mounting. Dembele looking forward to the back post where Mbappe was waiting, and that will be that for the first period of the game. 23 minutes on the clock, and we are still waiting for the first goal between France and Paraguay. It's the players.
So who are we playing? The local crew. They're legit. They play win or go home. And this crew hasn't got home in 30 years. For real? 3 kids. Isaac, Ruthie, and hold on, what's his name? They start off playing kids their age. They win. Then older kids. They win. Of course they win. Otherwise there's no story. Anyway, Times change. The results did it for 30 years.
No one beat them.
Not a winning streak. That's a legend. Who's up next?
I called you here today to talk about my transplantation. Eviano. And then where you bring Eviano, ma? Back to my ancestral land where I want to be laid.
Yes, ma. The Metropolitan Funeral Plan yako comes with Ipoidi repatriation.
Choir from the top.
It's Pick n Pay's birthday, and it's a big deal for every family. Smart shoppers get 750ml Russian Bear vodka and eat 2 for 290 Rand. 350ml Carling Black Label bottles, 24s for 300 Rand plus a 6-pack free. And Baby Soft 2-ply toilet tissue 18s and eat 2 for 250 Rand. And it gets even bigger. Stand to win one of 12 investments worth 100,000 Rand each, plus an FNB e-bucks bonus worth 10,000 Rand. Spend 500 Rand or more to enter. T's and C's online. Come home to Pick n Pay.
There are more ways to fly than ever before.
So, you think you can fly? Think again. But what's at stake? Stakes, not steaks. We're flying, not braaiing. Whenever we fly, we multiply. Okay, boy, because you have to cash out before. Okay, Mavericks, show me what you're made of. Let's fly. There, Goose.
Hollywood Bets. Enjoy playing responsibly.
Now, like a kind of, I don't know, if I say like
Paraguay have had a handful of runs forward, breaking out of their own half, but unable to create anything really of use. And as much as France have had the possession, it was just before that hydration break that we saw our first shot of the game.
not to say,
Well, it would have taken something massive from Paraguay to have this set of players etch their name in history in the manner that the squad of 2010 did. He said they don't reflect too much on how they can try and better that performance, but instead embrace it. Members of the squad visiting the camp, and the head coach, Gustavo Alfaro, saying how grateful he was to see his players inspired by a generation that meant so much to them. And this is, of course, Brian, we must say as well, a new generation, because it is 16 years since they last appeared at the World Cup.
It's a new generation, but I think when we talk about the talent, we talk about the passion, we talk about the idea that they're not supposed to be here after what they did against Germany in round of 32. That the idea then is to go out, represent the crest, represent yourself, represent your family, and understand that you're also representing the nation.
Just look at that football recovery zone. 11 seconds, they're so sharp, and they do hunt in packs. And indeed, attack with great numbers, but we'll start there to Miguel Almiron. And head down is striding forward, no one yet to join him. And Ciso not yet clicking through the gears in terms of pace, but now he may join him. Almiron. Headed away by Conde. One back. From Paraguay's own head. The chance may open up, but pings off the boots. Not the Meccano, and then sent out wide. Diego Gomez hangs his head.
Well, France defensively would be okay with the shot from distance from Junzer and Alonso as he interprets when he has to get that shot off. But the secondary shot, they'll just want better pressure and try to close down as that ball squeaks through and found Diego Gomez.
Desperately trying to control the ball with his head. Eddie Barker finds himself on the yellow card.
Well, right underneath us, Gustavo Alfaro is having a conversation with Miguel Almiron and giving the body language and the hand signals to Julio Enciso. Just trying to figure out the right spacing between those two players, specifically down this right-hand side. For Didier Deschamps, there's a certain amount of trust with the understanding that, yes, you're almost 30 minutes into this match, but this group has earned the freedom to find the rhythm of the game, especially against a team that is going to play so significantly low comfortable with the defending blocks of 5 and 4 in front of him.
Dembele. Dembele. Olise. Pressure Dembele. The ball pings around and almost trickles past Orlando Hill. Fabio. Yeah, Almiron goes down, nothing given. Now play will be stopped.
As Mickey Almiron comes across, he gets the kick from the back of the legs from Barcola. Landing gear comes up, he goes to ground, and as that ball squeaked away, a heavy challenge from Cubas on Rabiot. Here's another look, and the idea of the deflection in a dangerous spot. As a defender, you hate facing your own goalkeeper. In moments like this, just because the redirect can have such huge consequential effects.
Cubas nicknamed El Motorcito. And he kept running and running, didn't he, through the clash with Germany. Gomez just about reaching the ball. Snatched from French possession once again. No, it won't. A foul. And Saliba, who gets us back underway.
Virtually every build-up has come down this right-hand side, but we continue to see Matias Galarza flare in centrally and underneath to try to overload that midfield.
Makaleli watching on, of course, 2006 World Cup runner-up with France. He played with Didier Deschamps. Didier Deschamps has had Olise. Dembele tees something up there. The header almost and Kylian Mbappe was in a perfect position, just couldn't quite connect.
And it looked like it might have been Velasquez who comes through, check from the back shoulder, and no, it's Diego Gomez, just a little bit of a bump at the last second. In moments like that, a recovery defensive phase, you're just trying to offset the attacking player, get the body on it, maybe throw his weight, his central port of balance just a little bit off. But again, the variation of service and the constant link up between Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele.
He said France are like a thunderstorm. You want to know how to dodge those lightning bolts coming towards your goal. I'm able to do so thus far, admittedly, with just one attempt. France haven't done too much the way of Paraguay in terms of what would have expected so far with almost 32 minutes on the clock, Brian.
Based on what we saw last night, Argentina against Cape Verde, anytime you're coming up against a team that has that low block, has that self-belief, has that grittiness, has that tactical acumen to close the space and make things incredibly difficult. The challenge is to get the goal as early as possible, and more specifically before the halftime break. Because as the confidence continues to grow, there's a swagger that comes along with that, and a belief that, again, you would withstand all the chances generated from the opponent.
Rabiot goes from distance and flies into the crowd.
And defensively, Paraguay will feel much more comfortable with shots from that distance than they will with the variation of service that we've seen from Dembele coming down that right-hand side, trying to combine with either Mbappe or with Michael Olise. So with no immediate pressure whatsoever, you can see the idea, he just can't keep it on frame.
It's not even the front line from France who have scored so far this tournament. Behind, hit the back of the net, although Rabiot did provide an assist against Senegal.
Well, there's nothing more frustrating as a center back when a smaller attacking player leans into you. You feel as though you've done nothing wrong, but then you can see that arm on the right shoulder, and Ciso throws his arms out in disgust and simply draws the attention of the referee. But a dangerous. We'll see if Paraguay does what they did the first time around, asking two players to stand near the penalty spot while the high line defensively is just outside the 18-yard box, looking to anticipate their first step defensively.
It's a floating ball from Diego Gomez and into the arms of the goalkeeper, although quick try and dissolve any tensions. The referee sprinting over.
You can tell the idea for Velasquez, just keep Magnon down on the ground as quickly as possible and make sure defensively his group is in a recovery run.
There's Rabiot. Dean. Okay. To wrestle his way free, looks away the referee, and well, there's a handful of pushes there. And quick to react was the referee, but now he's in the middle of a last scuffle here. And even the goalkeeper has come over just to diffuse things, and that is somewhat helped from Orlando Hill, who was quick off his line to just calm things down. The temperature's rising, of course, down on the pitch. Evident frustrations from both sets of players.
As long as they stay in that gray area, and they've got to find the right balance of discipline and grittiness within the urgency of dealing with this attack. For Kylian Mbappe, he gets away from Kubas, he rides the challenge, he certainly earns the foul. But then in frustration, he doesn't like two hands to his chest. He responds with two hands to his own, and that's where the hands and the Paraguayan players start to get involved immediately. It's all giggles, smiles, and handshakes now. But again, there's a combative nature that you've got to find that unique sense of balance for these two teams.
So everyone happy? Maybe apart from Elise, who is trying to figure out where to place this ball. Floating ball, not cleared, now it is, headed over the top. That wasn't too far away. And they survived for now, Paraguay, but it is. Dembele stood over the corner, it's a high-looping ball this time, looking towards the back post. The strike is bouncing and straight into the arms. Orlando Hill.
France is wasting no time whatsoever. The moment they're awarded a corner, Dembele or Mbappe have both sprinted to get on the ball as quickly as possible. Jules Koundé from distance, less preferred left foot, keeps it on frame, looking for a slight touch. Easily handled the goalkeeper.
And it is the first shot that we've had on target of the game, coming from a man who has no international goals in 53 caps for his country.
That's a great recovery run from Kubas, the defensive midfielder. Recognizes danger, sits backside, he's got an eye on Dembele, and then harmlessly up and over and around the goal.
Right inside the final 10 minutes of regulation time in the first half. We wonder if Didier Deschamps is left scratching his head just slightly. 3 attempts France have had, just 1 on target. He knew this would be an attritional clash with the heat playing more than its role. This man has just had a shot saved. Here's Koundé. Wide to Dembele. There is space to operate around this Paraguayan back line. The ball fed in, but watched very closely and cleared away. Only as far as Saliba, who's of course able to guide it back to his goalkeeper, and they tease the ball as Enciso continues to run and run. And you don't want to be doing that too early in this game, but at least he has the benefit of the shade on this near side. So play continues with Enciso down. He stayed down, but it's Almiron who has the ball at his feet. Enciso now back to his feet, but may find his way back into the action as the ball's taken out to the corner flag, and it will be a goal kick.
They got a bad player. A bad player.
Here's Dembele. Mbappe's gone down. Off the ball challenge, and well, very quickly over to plead France's case is Dembele.
Well, it's Galarza as he comes across that Mbappe. He's making this run. He's trying to get in front. It's a right arm that comes up. Take another look at anything more malicious. He swipes down on the left. Nowhere near the base, but then the ball rolls across. Dembele is isolated 1v1. He's looking for just that little window, something that he's so comfortable in. Far post side net, over and over, replicating similar goals throughout his career.
It's been deemed on to arm contact. And we have two balls on the pitch. We will just have Dembele. On the delivery.
As he tries to get away from the defender, Velasquez, he goes inside, he goes outside, he feels as though he's been fouled. You can see the arm draped across. And the moment he feels that contact, he's trying to signify to the referee that there's something to take a closer look. But again, whether it's the verbal barrage, whether it's just the presence and the touches, right now Paraguay is making it very clear and evident that they're going to do everything in their power to upset any rhythm France could potentially create in these dying moments of the first half.
Here is Paraguay, we're trying to create something there, and since we're not happy to hear the whistle blow.
Well, two very different styles of football and how to interpret the game. For France, they're trying to have the cause and effect with the ball at their feet and the movement in the attacking phase of play. For Paraguay, they're doing everything in their power to keep the compactness across this back line of five, with allowing Cubas to be the destroyer, the pivoting player in front of that back line, and most importantly, Ellen, get into the halftime break without conceding that opening goal.
Kunde chasing. Paraguay concede another corner. 7 now, France have had. Alvarete, who sent the ball out, and change of the taker with Elise coming over to take this in-swinging kick. France held high. Michael Elise, high looping ball. But Kunde once again. Kone. Dina. Lukaden's ball back into the grasp of Orlando Hill.
Well, the spatial awareness from the three center backs has been outstanding in this first half from Paraguay.
There needed to be such a boost to have Alvarete back in the squad.
That's the third or fourth time William Ciso has gone down under the challenge of William Saliba right near the midway mark, and he continues to pop up, and he's not catching the attention of the referee. He looks at the fourth official with arms wide open, asking for a foul to be called in his favor.
One-sided momentum. France in the driving seats, yet to find the opening goal. Elise, as we approach the break. Dembele. To Elise. The ball at his feet, but Meccano's there in his aid. Dembele. Kunde. Out, but it will be a throw for France.
Oh, it's so smart to move in down that right-hand side as Kunde overloads at times the moment that he finds Dembele's feet. That then allows him to step in a little bit more centrally. Michael Elise has the freedom to make it a 3 versus 2 or a 3 versus 3 overload opportunity in terms of possession. And again, the majority of that buildup has been down this right-hand side as Kylian Mbappe continues to drop deeper into this midfield just to try to make this back line think about if they want to step a little bit higher.
Kone. That's a look. It's wide. Nothing really there to threaten the Paraguay goalkeeper.
Well, he's had 3 half looks in this first 45 minutes. Adrien Rabiot has had 2 decent looks. So the simplicity in that conversation, Alan, is that the 2 deep-lying midfielders are winning these second balls and finding those little cracks of daylight. But it'll be really fascinating to see what adjustments are made at halftime and how earlier Didier Deschamps thinks about so many options he has at his availability coming off the bench.
Well, that goal kick for
Yes,
Paraguay.
I think Nadal
Taken an average of over a minute, 62 seconds to take their goal kicks, whereas France just 5 seconds it's taken Magnon to launch his team back towards the Paraguay goal. Where thus far they have had little success. 4 attempts. Whilst approaching the break, they find the opener. It's Dembele. He's been marked on either side, isn't he? The door has always been closed on him. Lots are just there and lurking. Such a piece of himself to France. And here come Paraguay. In Ciso on the shoulder of Upamecano.
Yeah, it was too early. It was too early from Cubas. He did such an amazing job winning that initial 50-50 challenge with Kone. And he's just trying to reward and Ciso with that little bit of an angle as it got away from Saliba. And he never had the accuracy, the weight of the pass, nor the pace to beat the intelligence of the movement from Upamecano.
Expecting just 3 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half. Still goalless between France and Paraguay. Paraguay, the underdog story of the tournament so far. As Rabiot tries to launch a shot towards Orlando Hill. Once again, can't find a way through.
And one of the few times we've seen Bradley Barcola in more of that hybrid of a central attacking striker position. That was a fantastic ball from Upamecano. Breaks through the lines, goes all the way to the front. The 2 center backs try to apply the pressure, and they're looking for a quick little layoff to one of the central midfielders.
Barcola. Kone. He's in Ciso. Away past Upamecano. Has the pace to burn. Despite doing so much running already. And Ciso loses out. And it will go down as a throw for France. But he didn't realise he was geeing up the crowd. Didn't realise that the throw had gone against him.
Well, he's doing everything possible in that moment. Listen, defensively, that's a phenomenal touch right there from Upamecano. And it's the correct call from the referee. But Julio Enciso, the man that has led with goal contributions, a goal and 2 assists in these matches. 12 successful 1v1s. That's 3rd best out of all the players in the World Cup so far. And he's got that heart and determination despite having 0 support virtually underneath him and behind him to run at 2 to potentially 3 defenders for France to just see if he could sniff out a goal scoring opportunity.
Front line closing. They desperately try and find a way past Paraguay for the break. Dean.
Oh, and Ellen, we went all the way back to the game against Australia where it was a hybrid of 5 in the back. It was more of a 5-3-2 in the 0-0 draw. This one's different. And the inclusion of Miguel Almiron, because he was out with suspension after the red card suffered against Turkey for covering his mouth, the first we'd seen in a FIFA World Cup specific to 2026. But now Gustavo Alfaro set himself up defensively, pragmatic, keep the game in front of him, get to the halftime whistle without conceding a goal, and give yourself a couple of opportunities in transition moments to cause some problems. But with Avalos, thinking about Arce, Mauricio, Sanabria, plenty of options to change the complexion of this group in the second half.
The chip from Rabiot wasn't watched by anyone in blue. As the clock ticks down, 30 seconds or just under left of additional time. Well, they're happy, and you can understand why. The dreamers of the tournament, as things stand, holding the title favourites. But will that change? Because here from France. Roll forward. So have a flick, but no one there to meet it, and that will be that for the first half. A first half controlled by France, but it will be Paraguay who will be the happier of the 2 sides as they break. Hasn't had the involvement of the French captain that he would have wanted in the game. 38 places separate the two sides, but it is half time here at Philadelphia. Paraguay 0, France 0.
Gender reveal party, Moose. We've been wanting this baby so long. We're going to celebrate each milestone.
Okay, we'll celebrate too.
Moose?
It's a boy. I'm gonna have a son, Moose.
I can't wait to find out if it's a boy or a girl.
Okay,
I love you too, Moose.
When life doesn't go to plan, stay on top of your finances with your free credit score and report. Kia Score, best friend for your finances.
Let's keep it, yaga yaga. She come me party starter. Gen Z president, yes, brother. The girlfriend, the man, I'm a swagger. Party starter.
Unforgiving environments demand uncompromising workwear. Dromex Evotech workwear has been developed using advanced technology to provide protection and comfort in the harshest environments. Dromex range of Evotech workwear for those who work beyond the ordinary.
The world's biggest sporting stories unfold on Supersport this July. The Box return for a blockbuster Nations Championship. Springboks for us again! Only on your World of Champions.
My brother's people.
I know, I got
Back the hottest exclusive casino games with Betway.
Whatever you need, delivered fast and free. This is Amazon Prime.
We are deep into stoppage time. Oh, they must be careful here. But hang on, they are checking it. It's going to be in the hands of the VAR.
From South Africa in the Northwest Province in Rustenburg. And I think Brazil's going to win Norway 2-1. Bye.
Hi, Supersport Football. I'm Deji Machila. I'm predicting 3-2 in favor of Paraguay.
Hi everyone, my name is Ontapile and I believe France is gonna take the World Cup. And France will win 2-0 today.
Golden Africa, no goals out in Philadelphia. A huge tactical battle between Didier Deschamps and Gustavo Alfaro are raging into the second half. Now still the battle between these two nations on who will make it certainly to the final 16 at football's biggest stakes. The quarterfinals will be next, and both of these two nations will be hoping to make it that far. France have been all over Paraguay like white on rice, but they certainly haven't found the back of the net yet. I've got Pumutso Manenze with me in studio here, Bakari Sanya through the center, and Amanda Dlamini as well. Amanda, I start off with you. No goals, and you want to think Paraguay are the happier side?
Yeah, as expected, a low block from Paraguay, really forcing the French team to take those shots from way outside of the park. And I think this is what they wanted really much to do.
Bakari, how disappointed are you with that first half?
Well, it was not a surprise to see Paraguay refusing the play and trying to maybe make the focus going away from the national team. I'm disappointed with the wingers because they're wingers for a reason, to collect players one-on-one, but they keep dropping in the middle of the part. You see Olise too low and making the job of Adrien Rabiot. You see Rabiot going down and making the job of the center back. So at some point, they have to take more responsibilities, holding the right position if they want to be dangerous.
Big chances coming in from France. Pomutso, we talked about how defensively organized this Paraguay side can be. Just like Bakari Sanya, though, how disappointed are you in that French attack then?
I'm disappointed because they're sticking to positions. I expected them to overload one side so that they can be able to lure Paraguay to that side, then change the point of attack. But the way that they are staying they're too wide, France. If they can overload, find Olise, Dembele, Mbappe on the same side. Overload, let them come, and then all of a sudden you go wide to Bacola to change the point of attack. We spoke about Paraguay and said if they stay compact, it's going to be difficult for France to find the spaces, the half spaces. But for me, Sanya, they're looking, everybody, Toki, is looking for the ball to feed. Yes. There's no one that is coming to feed, then change direction and ask for the ball in behind. Everything of France is just in front of that defensive line of Paraguay. So if they are to look for space in behind, then try and drop that line and stretch the defense.
Yeah, and I think the solution will come from the side. They're always going to try and go to the middle. So Mbappe is dropping too fast. Who's playing number 9? They don't have that sort of point they can find to all appease the defenders. The defenders are no one to put pressure on.
So Amanda, fair enough then. We are talking exactly how France can win this game and can get back into this game. But let me have you on Paraguay's side. 0-0 at halftime. They have a chance of making it to the final 8. If you're Alvaro, how do you approach that second half then? As we look at what really is getting to be a heated moment out in Philadelphia.
Yeah, this is a team I think in the tournament has probably scored 3 goals. So they're a team that are saying, we're okay with not having much of the ball position. We're okay with winning with just 1 goal score margins, which means they really want to frustrate the opposition. And that's exactly what they're doing to the French team. They're eliminating all the areas of threat. And it goes back to that defensive 4 that we spoke about. 2 center backs, 2 midfielders that are making it very difficult to penetrate in the middle. That's why the likes of Olise just seem to be going a bit more wide.
All right, a quick look at those numbers then. 59% of that possession with France, 31% with Paraguay. But Momotso, 5-2 attempts at goal doesn't suggest we're having so much goal mouth action, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't. The quality of France is not showing in the stats that we're looking at. But for me, one thing that Paraguay can maybe discuss in the changing room now, in the locker room, is that Saliba, Opamako, they are playing so hard. So if you can allow Almiron and also Insensio to cheat a little bit so that you can try and use the space in behind, because the whole game has been played inside the half of Paraguay.
All right, there you are. And we are getting straight to Philadelphia again. A big 45 minutes is coming up. One of either Paraguay or France will be making it to the quarterfinals of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. But now that will depend on who wins the game. Shall we have extra time? Are we in for penalties? Africa, do not worry. All the drama is live on your World of Champions. And this simply means one thing and one thing only. Everything else can wait. The Big 45 is next and it's live.
that mean?
Can't, bruh. No signal.
Exactly, it's finished the game.
This is going viral. Did anybody get it? I've got a Capita connector. I'll send it to my mom.
Striker is on the move. He cuts inside. He dribbles past one defender. He's heading towards the box. He shoots.
And my heart beats so that I can hardly speak. When we're out together,
What's your name? I'm back.
Soccer is never just skill. Soccer is belief. Belief that the next pass sticks, the next run opens space, the next shot finds the net. We know the odds. We've heard what people say, but believe this. Bafana made it to the biggest stage. Believe, and they show up. Back our boys on 10Bet, the official betting partner of Bafana Bafana.
Hi. Hi, Sean. I have dropped in because I've heard you've had a major premium drop.
Yes, my saving now with Outsurance is 479 rand per month. Outsurance is giving me now a lifeline. If you look at our economy, everything has become so expensive.
Yes.
And now that's the third card insured with Outsurance, so we are really saving quite a lot. You too can save with Outsurance.
You can save. Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands.
Sure, much better.
Right?
Hey, madam driver, let's take it. It's gonna last me the whole day. It's fine.
You know, when Gogo left, she left us with a piece of her. Say yes to a game plan for your loved ones. Gogo didn't just leave us with her things. She left us with Iplani. Get an Absa Eyanononke funeral plan and cover up to 16 lives. Your story matters. Absa.
Welcome back to Philadelphia, where despite the 38-place gap between Paraguay and France, it is goalless as France emerged from the tunnel led out by Mbappe, who didn't have the role that he would have wanted to play in the first half. It's been quite the party here in Philadelphia as the masses who have flocked to the stadium celebrate the United States of America's 250th birthday. 4th of July today across America, and such a big milestone in their history. Paraguay came to mark a milestone of their own. They reached the quarterfinals in 2010. They were knocked out by Spain. It has always been a European team that has ended Paraguay's World Cup dreams whenever they've progressed to the knockout stages. Will it be France today? Or will this fairy tale run for Paraguay continue? So the countdown is back on for the start of the second half, and now the majority of the field here in Philadelphia shrouded in shade, which will be much to the delight of Paraguay in particular, who get us underway through Julio Enciso, who did a lot of running in the first half, Brian Dunseth, and well, they'll be delighted to see that shade creeping its way across the ground.
And the idea for Paraguay continues its team commitment defensively. It's really trying to strangle the passing lanes. But can they be more progressive when they get into the attacking phase of play and have better support for Julio Enciso and Miggy Almiron? For France, it's rare that they're going to face a high line to be able to use that verticality to get in. So a lot of this is going to be rotation and running off the ball with variation of service, either early and deep or getting down to the end line for cutback balls.
The free kick has been given away of Paraguay with Miguel Almiron down on the ground. Second only to Julio Enciso in chances created for his nation this World Cup. Well, he was full of praise for France in the press conference. You can understand why. He says this is a huge clash against the world's #1 side. And they've kept them quiet in terms of action in front of goal through the first 45 minutes. Have an attacking free kick early in this second half. Close forward. Lise gets a touch. Upamecano. Dembele. Well, any eagle-eyed of you watching on will notice that Ousmane Dembele has changed his boots for this second half. He was wearing some green boots, at least that's what I think from up here, and now he's switched to the pink to move more in line with the majority of his teammates. Here's back on the ball once again. This is better from France, trying to force a way through quickly, pounced upon by the back line of Paraguay though. Just those early moments of France showing exactly what they can do, Brian.
Well, not just Ousmane Dembele, also Michael Elise going to the white boots, getting away from the blue boots. Listen, as a player, sometimes when you don't feel like things have gone well in the first half, you're just looking for that little bit of change. And sometimes it's not physical, it's just psychological.
Correct. Well, he has been one that's caught his attention with his boots this tournament. Michael Elise, not just his footwork inside of them. Here's Rabio, had a couple of good opportunities and goes again. It fires into a crowd of French fans behind the goal.
Oh, he's begging the referee that there was a touch on the way through. As he comes, second time we've seen from distance, similar distance than we saw in the first 45 minutes, up and over the crossbar. And the frustration for Didier Deschamps not testing the goalkeeper's hands.
We didn't see too much emotion from Didier Deschamps midway through the first half, and his press conference was certainly no nonsense yesterday. Given away far too easily. What can Paraguay do here? It's sent out for a corner. And of course, it had to be Almiron.
Which just goes to show you the importance for Paraguay to have somebody off the shoulder of Julio Enciso as that ball comes down. Hugo Lozano likes to play it with his chest. As the ball gets away, Miguel Almiron, he thrusts into space, and with that dominant left foot, he's looking for a half chance, and that time it's the outside of his left foot to see if he can test the goalkeeper.
Just a first corner of the game for Paraguay. That's it. He's making his feelings known to the referee. Pressure that's being placed on his shoulder. Here's Miguel Almiron preparing to take this first corner kick for Paraguay. He's really punched high. The attack's still alive. Alonso preparing to launch this towards. Nothing to really challenge the goalkeeper, who launches the ball forward quickly. And here comes Mbappe. Huge chance, but he just takes his time. A touch too long. They want to handball. They think they control the ball with his arm. The corner's been taken quickly. France trying to catch out the Paraguay back line, firing into the side netting. Well, it was just absolute chaos ahead of that corner being taken. They were pleading ever so desperately. Caceres, I felt like Paraguay deserved something here. Let's take a look back.
Yeah, and it goes all the way back. Mike Magnon, as he hits the side volley into space, that allows the defender Caceres to come all the way across and get a toe poke before Kylian Mbappe can get his shot off. And in the midst of trying to argue that it should be a goal kick instead of a corner, France once again quickly takes it. Heavy collision. Dembele goes through, takes the bump, and this lands on the goalkeeper. No intent whatsoever to injure, but bodies going in opposite directions, and unfortunately the goalkeeper takes the brunt of not only the challenge from his own defender, but also from the attacking player.
Well, they're still pleading their case. The Paraguayan players who know that that should have been a goal kick rather than a corner. And still receiving treatment. Orlando Hill.
Well, the distribution, the recognition gets in amongst the trees. Side volley from that distance. He's got the accuracy up and over the top. And Mbappe, the first ball comes through. And that's the initial argument, that the ball came up and struck his right arm right here. As he comes down, it looked like it more off his shoulder. It allows the defender the recovery time with that second bounce. And Mbappe can't get his shot off, and the defender gets an important intervention touch.
Well, a touch of the dark arts and a wry smile on the face of Kylian Mbappe. So now back to his feet, Orlando Hill. A player of the match performance against Germany, and the saves he made in the penalty shootout. A story that has really captured the nation and eyes around the globe. His desire to keep playing while funding the expenses for the treatment of his young child who was born prematurely, selling off some of his old kits, and some of that kit will be returned to him after that story has been shared far and wide.
It's been so impressive throughout the course of the group stage, and in particular the performance against Germany, so much so there's been heavy talk on social media about a potential £7 million move to Torino. No doubt the interest will continue to ramp up as the continued performances are put in.
Corning. Oh, tipped over. Another big moment for Orlando here. And once again, France over so incredibly quickly to take this corner. A great reaction from the man between the sticks of Paraguay.
Yeah, part of the tactics for Alonso to close down space. For Kone, the shot, you can see it tailing away, corkscrewing, comes across, right hand over his body. And then Junior Alonso, recognizing that France is trying to take the quick corner, he steps in.
Ball feeds in. They are so quick to try and take every single corner, aren't they, France now? And just almost keeping the ball in play, Michael Elise.
And to your point, Ellen, I think that was the tactical move right there from Junior Alonso on that last corner on the near side of France. Paraguay is starting to pick up how to at least negate the ability of France to play quickly. And that's simply stepping in within that 10 yards, drawing the attention of the AR, and him forcing to use his flag to indicate to the referee that a player approached space.
Well, the temperature, despite the shade across the stadium, has barely dropped at all. 36 degrees Celsius. And that has played a huge role, of course, in this game. But here is Elise. All being passed around. Anyone take it on, it will go out for another corner. Mbele will take it. Over comes Ian Mbappe as well. Sel is the first line of defence alongside with Julio Enciso for Paraguay. Mbele. Curl on the ball, gets straight into the arms of the keeper.
So Paraguay has certainly found a solution. In the first half, now the start to the second half, is about 20 minutes in, as France looks to play as quickly as possible after corners are earned. Paraguay is just simply stepping into the space. And that's forcing the frustration, the arm waving from France to get the attention to the referee.
Expecting a change shortly for Paraguay. Maybe the end of the road for Alderete, who's such a big boost to have him back in the squad for Paraguay. Centre half. Here's Dembele. Gomez. I've certainly seen more of the ball, Paraguay, in this second half so far. Yeah, it's been given away to Miguel Almiron. Julio Enciso chasing. Closely watched by Kunde. The ball had gone out of play. And, well, you can see the reason for the change is that Canale prepares to come onto the pitch. It's Alderete, who was pretty much down for this game. I mean, Sunderland going to a knee injury.
Well, the shot from distance for Kone, you see it curling, buckles away, he's keeping on France. He's got just that sideline for that upper left-hand side. This is a fantastic save. Very technical from the goalkeeper, gets his burst. And as he comes off that left foot, he comes across window wiper and he pushes fingertips up and over with that extension of his right arm just to give himself a couple more inches.
So coming off with a grimace on his face is Alderete. On comes Zicanale. Scored in the shootout over Germany.
He had the decisive penalty, a player that previous to that 120-minute performance against Germany had only played 6 minutes in the tournament. So he'll be prepared, ready, probably a little bit frustrated that he wasn't in the starting 11 from the opening whistle.
Yeah, that clash with Germany was his first start of the tournament. It's from Diego Gomez. Quickly won back by France. No foul given there. Barkla. Still going. And he's still going. Defending from Paraguay. And you can see what that means. Juan Jose Caceres, who roars at the crowd. 4 into end now, within the course of this game.
I think at times we go back years ago with Chiellini and Bonucci, and every single defensive stop for the Italian defenders were celebratory moments. It was as if they were scoring goals on the defensive end with the way that they would find the emotion after defensive stops. We're certainly seeing that from the outside wingback, Juan Cáceres, the 26-year-old, has been doing a phenomenal job. Even when he's beat, he's doing a marvelous job of keeping touch tight and just trying to offset with a slight little delicate push at times.
There's the shot, and it's high and looping once again. Barkla, who's quick to nestle his head into the chest of his teammates, knows he needs to do better, and will we see changes coming soon? But well, Paraguay potentially first, as he signals that it's time to come off, and that will be a huge hit. And Ciso has been the big creative force alongside Miguel Almiron in this game.
Well, he only lasted 57 minutes against Germany, and there was fatigue concerns, there were injury concerns. Caballero, who came on to play 35 minutes against Germany, will get that opportunity.
On comes Gustavo Caballero. Spent last season on loan at Portsmouth in the Championship from Santos. And, well, not a surprise to see this change. Somewhat maybe an idea that he would have hoped that attempt would have kept him on the pitch for a little bit longer if it would have nestled. But it is Bradley Barkla who makes way for Desiree Doué.
Two players interchangeable for both club and country. And whether it's success or lack of clinical finishing, it's still a huge asset for Didier Deschamps to be able to turn to at this stage of the match.
Yeah, he was asked about the atmosphere in the group. He said that he tries to stay out of it as much as possible. But of course, Desiree Doué was asked about the relationship that he has with Bradley Barkla, of course, so intense. Those two being, as you rightly say, teammates for Paris Saint-Germain, playing in the same position and fighting for that spot on the wing. And he says he knows what his role is. Everyone in the squad, whether they're the players who are starting or coming on as substitutes, they know their role. And they know how to make the best of it. There's a quick touch from Elisa.
When I try to go more than that,
Lighting the way. Look at Dean. Can he keep the ball in play? Just about does. Do it. Get there. And it will go out.
I can't imagine that Paraguay manager Gustavo Alfaro was thinking about his first two changes being injury changes within the first 15 minutes of the start of the second half. Right now, you're usually thinking about fresh legs and a potential upgrade based on the way that they started tactically. And instead, you're forced to swap a center back and forced to swap a striker, maybe earlier than expected. So keep an eye on the chess match and the tactical acumen of the manager and how important his next set of substitutions are going to be for Paraguay.
They have such depth of talent, don't they, France? And that's evident considering the man who just saw the ball this fast in Ousmane Dembele. Wasn't really talked about for the first couple of games, was he, before that hat-trick? And of course, his place in the standings of this World Cup and the battle for the Golden Boots, which is being led by Messi, just one ahead of Kylian Mbappe. Can Desiree do here? So he's sick on his feet. Keeps up and goes down. Well, he's signalled. The referee says play on. He wants to get back to his feet quickly here because the ball's at the boots of Michael Elise. You know what he can do. Dembele tries to feed it, but the door is quickly closed by Paraguay. And that's really where they've been elite, this back line. Shuts almost everything down. Can you stop this? It is a ball that doesn't require stopping from Kylian Mbappe because it is into the crowd.
Desiree Doué, as he comes across Kubas, the Vancouver Whitecaps midfielder, gets a big old chunk of him. In time to shove the referee. He showed the early yellow card to Bradley Barcola in the 20th minute for his challenge on Caceres in front of the bench. This time, he's got a perfect angle, a perfect referee view, and instead doesn't show a yellow card. More importantly, doesn't even blow the whistle.
Well, you can see the frustration there of Orlando Hill, who sent the goal kick long and so didn't have the runner that he's been used to for the first 60 minutes of this game. In Julio Enciso.
Well, Caballero is going to be more of a big focal point number 9 type of player, meaning that you want to play into his body. You want to believe that he can battle against Upamecano and Saliba in terms of alleviating the pressure once Paraguay does indeed get back on the ball, instead of for Enciso playing into space and allowing him to use that athleticism to open up the legs and cause these defenders problems. This is more of an ideal matchup for these two center backs.
He's trying to thread the ball through, hasn't he? Dembele on a handful of occasions, and it hasn't yet paid off. Used Desiree Doué once again. Keeps going, it's Desiree Doué, that's a great run. He goes down, the appeals are there from the French fans, nothing is given. And now they have to hold up the attack from Miguel Almiron, who is chasing and chasing and chasing, but a firm arm from Saliba. You see him take the ball up to the corner, and now, well, that's taking it out of Miguel Almiron, that sprint out of his own half and bearing down towards goal. It was a strong hand from William Saliba, and, well, VAR are having a look.
Well, for Desiree Doué, as he goes through, you can see the initial touch. And as Diego Gomez comes through, he certainly gets a big piece of Doué right there. He leaves the leg out, referee allows the play to continue. He waves off the penalty shout. Doué goes to ground. For me, that's a penalty. But instead, in transition moments going in the opposite direction, now there's concern for Miguel Almiron as he immediately reached for that left hamstring. And part of the game for William Saliba, something that's not often acknowledged, he's got a ton of pace and athleticism.
Yeah, sorry, Brian. Here we go. This is the first time that the crowd has been alerted to the penalty check, and he is going over to the screen. Well, the appeals were so loud from France, the players, the bench, and the fans, and have the appeals been heard down in Dallas?
Well, it's very clear and very evident. You don't need too many looks at it to see where the contact is. And for Diego Gomez, as he leaves out that left leg, he's not getting a touch on the ball. And as Desiree Doué walks the high line and the high wire, now it seems very clear and evident what the referee's going to decide.
After the off-field review, number 8 of defender treat attacker player inside the penalty area. Decision is penalty.
So the decision is penalty. France's first penalty of this tournament. And here is the incident that has led to it.
The intelligence, the skill, the athleticism, and just pure technical ability of Desiree Doué to go down and beat 4 defenders, including the man that fouled him, Gomez. Gustavo Alfaro, he thought it was a dive. The referee himself allowed the play to continue in a transition moment until the intervention of VAR Juan Mora sent him over to the monitor.
Well, it has been such an attritional battle so far between Paraguay and France, and you can see, well, a crowd of Paraguay players stood around Ousmane Dembele.
Well, you wonder if Ousmane Dembele is deflecting who's really going to take this penalty. He's in the midst and the havoc right now of Paraguay trying to do everything to set the opportunity for France to take this penalty, but you wonder if Kylian Mbappe is slowly going to mosey over. Right there, it should be a yellow card for Gustavo Velasquez.
Yeah, no surprise to see the ball exchange hands, and it will be Kylian Mbappe who has a golden opportunity to draw back level with Messi at the top of the standings for the golden boot of the tournament so far. The last penalties Mbappe took in the World Cup were in the final against Argentina. 2 in the game, 1 in the shootouts. And this to give France the lead in the last 16 against Paraguay. Well, Miguel Almiron was pointing to the spot. He's not happy with where the ball has been placed. And there is more now with these distraction techniques, as there's a pop of the chest from Kylian Mbappe. 10 goals he has in the World Cup knockout rounds. It's Mbappe who steps up and rolls the ball into the back of the net. Was it ever in doubt?
Football don't
take you. 150 goals a World Cup. From Kylian Mbappe. His 7th goal of the tournament so far, and now France have the lead.
Well, the deception was Ousmane Dembele standing over the penalty spot and just trying to deflect the moment that Kylian Mbappe, ball in hand, puts it down, sends the goalkeeper in the opposite direction, and gives France the lead in the 70th minute here in Philadelphia.
An anniversary goal for France on an anniversary night for the USA here in Philadelphia. The 150th goal scored by France in the World Cup finals. And now he is just 1 behind Messi's overall record total of 20 goals. 19 in 19 World Cup appearances. And those French fans will continue to make the noise as they're scattered around the stadium, groups of them, and the changes come for Paraguay with Mauricio making his way into the action. It's Miguel Almiron who makes way.
The player we expected to see, Avalos, from the opening whistle, but with the changed tactics, he started on the bench. Mauricio replaces Diego Gomez and Miguel Almiron, who cramped up in that left hamstring. He reached for it immediately after the initial bypass of the referee, not to put to the spot for Desiree Doué going to ground. He vacates in these final 18 minutes or so.
The ball guided back into the hands. Mike Manon. Well, how will that goal now change the lay of the land in this game, Brian? Because it is Paraguay who, after sitting so low, now have to chase the game.
That's it. You just nailed it. And again, another heavy challenge. This time it was Cubas going through Adrian Rabiot as he let the ball off that exquisite wand of a left foot that he has. It opens up the game. They're going to have to be less pragmatic. They're going to have to be more aggressive. They're going to have to take more chances, which obviously plays into everything that France does well.
Yeah, and the heat has played into everything.
They still want to fight too. They still want to go fight them.
From dreaming to creating.
Now one of your teammates caused the penalty.
Make life happen with payments on your terms.
Mafusana. It all comes down to the penalty kick. Pakacha Boxini, Sobona, Sobuga, Eish, Matrila. Oh, and a Contesayo, Mafusana, Karagato!
Stay seamlessly connected with prepaid compact fiber from only $349. Call 10213. Visit telcom.co.za or go to any Telcom store. Telcom. Possible begins here.
While the world is watching, you could be winning. Bet on all 104 matches with World Sports Betting. Choose from hundreds of live and free match markets every game. Cash in early with the revolutionary two-up feature. Plus, stand a chance to win your share of a massive 20 million rand in cash and prizes with our exciting predictors and free-to-play penalty shootouts. Back the boys to bring it home with World Sports Betting. Bet responsibly. Bet with World Sports Betting.
He lives for the game, but he doesn't play it. The dedication on the pitch starts long before the players arrive. That's because he's the champion behind the champions, and he deserves the reward for being one. Corning Black Label, made for champions, not for persons under the age of 18.
Because now that sense of urgency with the final whistle closing in. We talked about momentum, we talked about belief, we talked about talent and passion. And the idea that for the bigger conversation, they aren't necessarily supposed to be here. But they weren't necessarily supposed to be facing Germany, and yet they walk away after 120 minutes, drawn level 1-1, winning at penalties 4-3 in the round of 32.
Yeah, well, that is a good point you make, and it was a point that ended up with the criticism faced away of Paulo, who spoke up and said that he did receive a fair bit of negativity after they finished third in their group. That was quickly put to one side with the victory over Germany on penalties. They have only ever won once before when conceding first at a World Cup, and that was when they beat Slovenia 3-1 in the 2002 group stage. There's confirmation of those substitutions from just before the hydration break. That stat in mind, Brian, only once winning when conceding first. They have come back to draw 8 of the first 14 games when conceding first.
Yeah, and the problem for Paraguay, unbeaten the moment they get that first goal. 30 matches now, 28 wins, just 2 draws. And now you'll see control, even more dominant control on both sides of the ball. As again, Paraguay is forced to create chances.
Oh, Mbappe's gone down, and I think there was maybe just a kick out there. And the man lifting himself up from the ground.
What's the coming together that we've seen, and now we just expect until the final whistle or one of these two warriors end up finding themselves substituted. He's kicked out, he knows exactly what he's doing. And the question is, with the high bar of intervention from VAR, is there enough in a moment like this to send the referee over to the monitor? Nowhere near the excessive force probably needed, but you can tell exactly what Cáceres is thinking about.
Well, just look at this battle. He is really one of the modern greats, Kylian Mbappe, and level with Messi at the top of the standings. For the golden boot as Paraguay look to launch a rare attack forward. Just about keeping the ball in, or did he know the flag has gone up? And so it will be a goal kick.
As much as we saw Paraguay up until that Mbappe goal from the penalty spot in the 70th minute, now because they've earned themselves a lead, Ellen, they've also earned themselves this opportunity to take as much time as possible. Again, the margins manipulating, and this time Gustavo Velasquez is looking to chunk up the penalty spot in hopes that as Kylian Mbappe puts that ball down, it's just a little bit uneven. That affords him the opportunity to miss that penalty. That certainly wasn't the case. Cool, collected with that finish.
Cool as you like. His family watching on in the stands. And it was Lionel Messi who became the first player to score 7 or more goals in 2 World Cups, hitting that mark last night. And Mbappe, less than 24 hours later, equaling that record himself. It is a French front line that has, well, records that they're eyeing up left, right and centre. Formidable they have been, although we haven't seen the best of them through this game so far, but you can understand why. The heat, pretty much unbearable. Although the majority of this pitch now, Brian, very much in the shade.
Yeah, and the natural progression as they're chasing the game has gone to more of a hybrid of a 4-3-3. Again, the most dynamic vertical players, Julio Enciso and Miggy Almiron, out because of injury. It's not going to be the same. It'll look different. Tactically, it'll feel different. And the idea is to apply way more pressure than what we saw in the first 70 minutes against this French back line that's been incredibly comfortable in all of the minuscule moments that Paraguay's been dangerous in transition.
Nino Alonso will take the throw here. We know he's got a long throw. His cabinet that he can deploy. So here he goes. There's a coming together in the box, and can't still have a player down. It's a Upamecano who's taken an elbow, I think, to the chest, to the ribs.
I camera myself, man. Camera this.
2 players.
Camera always
most certainly throws an elbow right into the ribs, the stomach area. Most likely enough for check complete. But again, Didier Deschamps, he's going to want an explanation from the 4th official. What exactly is going on out there?
He is so expressive, isn't he, at times, Didier Deschamps, that sort of upside down smile, as I put it, more speaks more than any words possibly could in the situation.
I think about the success that he had as a player and now as a manager. And joining Beckenbauer is Zagallo as the 3rd player coach to win a World Cup both on the field and on the sidelines.
It's a very exclusive club, isn't it, that Didier Deschamps is in, and he would love to end on the highest of all highs and take his team to another World Cup final and another win. Yellow card showing the way of Manu Cornet coming into the starting lineup for the 3rd time this tournament.
Cáceres is sitting a little bit more higher in that midfield. He started out as a dynamic wingback. As he comes across, gets the ball first. Certainly late, certainly worthy of the yellow card.
Paraguay stood over this free kick. Had good distance on it, didn't it? Jose Canale.
That's the right idea. You're trying to push that back across and make Mike Maignan think about coming off of his line, get caught in no man's land. In the ideal world, you just want to put it goal side of that penalty spot and give your attacking players an opportunity.
There's Mauricio, who is chasing the 3 players to score this World Cup for Paraguay. There is just 3 of them. He's trying to make his way for the ball once again. He goes down. Now, cheers from the Paraguayan fans. He is back to his feet. Gone and scored against the USA. And 2 of Paraguay's 3 goals this tournament have been from set pieces.
And now the management of possession and the management of the lead, 2 things that are incredibly important for France. As important is the speed of the passing and recognizing the value of space right now, specific to the initial pressure from any of the Paraguayan players, but also recognizing that you can take their legs out from underneath them.
We are expecting a change shortly as well, and you can see Baran Cherki positioned on the edge of the area, waiting to come on as Elise gets worked by his Is it number in Mauricio? And there goes down. Play is continuing though. Elise down, and now the play will be stopped by the referee.
You are too soft for this.
Caballero involved in that collision with Michael Elise, and here comes that change for France. Well, his expressions have really painted the picture that he would have wanted more from this tournament. Ryan Cherki in terms of starting games minutes, but he doesn't want to mess with a winning formula, and that winning formula does of course include Ousmane Dembele, who makes his way off the pitch. And on comes Ryan Cherki.
And as the tournament, and excuse me, as a guy like Ryan Cherki might be the most valuable player for France, based on the former players in front of him, the that they're dealing with, the run of form, or even the manager's decision. For Ryan Cherki, his interpretation of the game and the way that he plays, certainly one of the elite playmakers in modern football.
You do want players in your team, don't you, that are hungry to start, hungry to come into the games. Here's Desiree Doué. Ryan Cherki. Elise. With the ball at his feet once again. 5 assists in the tournament so far.
Yeah, these two players, the way that they play technically, it's got that hybrid of street football or futsal and then international footballing ability. So creative, dominant left foot players. The low center of balance. They've got that vision, that eye to split players apart and really enjoy the moment that they can embarrass a defender.
This will bring to an end a run of games where at least has some scored at least 3 in every game so far at the World Cup, but of course it is a sign of champions, isn't it? The ability to see out games of this manner. This intensity and the heat facing the low block that Paraguay always suggested. Made very clear that they'd come out and play with.
It's also the reputation, right? At the end of the 90 minutes, and this win that would potentially put them into the quarterfinals for the 4th consecutive time. France would join West Germany, who did it from 82 to 90, and Brazil, who did it from 94 to 2002. And oftentimes we talk about golden generations. Well, I don't know how to verbally walk that line with this group of players that we've seen compared to the past, but certainly such a wealth of riches when you think about French football.
Yeah, I think that's the point, isn't it? You know, you speak about golden generations. There has been so much turnover in the squad, so many players rising to the fore. When you look at Michael Elise in particular with Paraguay, can they force something here? The strike comes in, and is there a nick on it and it goes out? Or no, it has been given as a goal kick. It was Michael Elise who only made his first appearances for France in the Olympic Games just a couple of years ago in Paris, a squad that were branded by the French press as the D team, Thierry Henry's D team, and they went all the way to the final, finishing 2nd. And you look at players who have come through after that, caught the attention, and now Michael Elise with 5 assists this tournament, and a player who really has become irreplaceable for France. Another late tackle, this time on Manu Kone of Roma.
Yeah, Matthias Galarza knows exactly what he's doing. He's trying to challenge for this ball. As Kone gets there first, it's a collision. The thing to always look for is the eyes of the player that's fouling his opposite number. And Galarza knew that he was going to get a piece of him. And Kone goes down, gets right back up. And really now the margin's becoming slimmer and slimmer for Paraguay to get that ball forward with numbers to really test whatever this back line looks like. And so far, there's been very few moments where France has even been asked to bend, much less break.
Plenty of concern on the faces of the Paraguay fans. You can understand why, because they've never scored later than the 86th minute in a World Cup game, and they would require their latest ever World Cup goal to equalise. And that's something that Carlo likes to look for, those errors from France. They can't let too many creep in. Here's Canale.
And by the way, going back to that Ryan Cherki conversation, just imagine had Hugo Ekitike not gone down with that brutal Achilles injury near the end of the season for Liverpool, what his role could look like in this tournament.
Mbappe once again goes for goal himself and stings the palms of Orlando Hill. The ball's still alive through Michael Elise. Now Mbappe would like to add another tonight. Sending top of the standings for the Golden Boot and would level things out with Messi's record of goals in the World Cup, which sits at 20 for Lionel Messi. We are expecting a large chunk of additional time here, and it could be a number in double figures. 60 seconds left of the 90. Just look at that for a comparison, Brian.
Outstanding, as expected. And again, for a Paraguayan side that had better of the opportunities and 12 touches in the opponent's box against Germany, they did find the back of the net. They pushed them 120 minutes all the way to penalties.
And can they push France in? It's a good save. Quickly down to one side. Mauricio looking to replicate his goal from early on in the tournament. Can't find the back of the net this time. Bouncing kindly into the hands of Mike Magnon.
Yeah, certainly the sense of urgency for Mauricio, the substitute, came on with 18 minutes remaining, recognized that he was going to have very slim daylight to get his shot off.
Well, nothing given. The play continues. 10 minutes of additional time has now been confirmed by the fourth official. Swayan Cherki looks to try and control the ball with his head. And Paraguay have somewhat sparked into life late on. Here's Mauricio. Rabiot. Elise. Desiree Doué making the long run down the far side. Here's Desiree Doué. Hanging around and will be sent high by Alonso. Cornet. Desiree Doué.
They go back to those last two opportunities for Paraguay down this near left-hand side. It's the opposite left back, Lucas Dean, doing a phenomenal job in his positional placement, his intervention in the moment, both with his feet and with his head. To clear really dangerous balls that Gustavo Alfaro is really looking for. And there'll be a sense of confidence, or at least time and confidence, with 10 minutes remaining, as the verbals are given from Galarza going to ground for Elise.
Well, another goal here would certainly settle the game, you feel. Elise places the ball down. He has Rabiot to one side, and he now walks away. Very central position for this free kick. Kylian Mbappe lurking between the two centre backs. Cherki. And Cherki. Galarza sends the ball on. Continuing to fight and scrap for the ball. And then sent out finally by Koundé, but you can understand the emotions there from Gustavo Alfaro, the 63-year-old Argentine, because he knows his team are on the brink of a last 16 exit hit.
You can see Didier Deschamps giving that motion with his hands for everyone to calm down. But for Caballero, he did everything right with Upamecano until that final motion of picking him up and dropping him to the ground. He made it extremely difficult for the right side center back to find the balance of Koundé and simple possession, or going all the way back to his goalkeeper.
Are they nearly there? From Canale. It's played by Cornet. A huge amount in the way of support, but Ryan Cherki is there. The cross away for Alonso. It's after a corner. They're 11th now with this match, France.
Chicky, it's so intelligent what the decision was right there. Isolated 1v1. He's got no Paraguay. Instead of looking to just dribble in and take isolation 1v1 inside that penalty area, he recognizes he wants to get as close to the end line to see if he can earn another opportunity for France to take some time off the clock.
Elise waits. Not even halfway through the 10 additional minutes. At the end of the second half, is pleading with the linesman on the near side, not happy with the positioning of Caballero. I think that's the issue. Due's there as well. They'll take this corner short. Due. Elise. France need to react quickly here.
It was in the first half that Galarza got a piece of killing Mbappe, but it wasn't against the face. It was a slap of the left arm when Mbappe went to ground. This time it's Jules Koundé, and it's coming together, and you can see the indication that he feels like he was struck in the left side of his face. Galarza turns, he pivots, the arm comes across. No, it's down the hands. It's not to the face. Good stuff from the referee, Tantashev, to recognize the difference.
Two balls on the pitch and 3 balls even now on the pitch. There's now the ball kicked out on the far side, and well, this will all play into France's favour. 5 minutes of the additional 10 left.
Yeah, with long throws like this, always keep an eye on the back post.
Long ball headed in, sent away. Canale. And some decision-making, good decision-making from Luca Dean. Yes. Now, Caceres is back to his feet. It was Mauricio who was right there once again. He's been such a bright spark since he was brought on.
Luca Dean certainly isn't going to get the headlines after a performance like this, but he has been outstanding. Not about the ball, not about getting forward, but his positional play as an outside left back, how connected he's been.
What a ball it is from Michael Elise, and here's Desiree Due. He's still doing. Who leads it for Mbappe? It's a massive save. It's the corner. It's saved
Oh,
again.
God. This thing are too bad.
From Orlando Hill to deny Kylian Mbappe not once, but twice. Well, the intensity has stepped up a level. And down goes.
You see this? Now you're bringing up.
And it will be a yellow card for Michael Elise.
Whatever the number is for this goalkeeper, continues to climb. Hands, jerseys, finger waving. An obvious dive, but for his role in it, he's shown yellow. The reaction through the legs, spectacular, strong right hand from the goalkeeper.
Due sends the ball high.
Nah, for this game, they just play now. Shoot on the air. Hey.
Oh, cleared away in the manner that he would have liked by Saliba, and now it's out for a corner. Well, Orlando Hill, I think, is asking whether he should go up for this. We are still 7.5 minutes into the 10 additional minutes, so I think he's been told to stay back for now.
And with Miggy Almiron to the bench, it'll be Mauricio, the 25-year-old. It'll be an in-swinger from that far side. Again, bodies on the deck. But right now, for Paraguay, they'll have great intuition about the quality of service, a good idea of where it's supposed to be landing. So then it's about the timing of your run, it's about the checking, it's clearing a space, and trying to figure out ways to get as far as possible from any player in a blue jersey.
So here's the corner, high looping, in swinging, easy collection in the end for the French first choice keeper.
It's been very good, anticipating coming off his line and more importantly being strong in amongst the trees.
We are now into the last 2 minutes. The countdown is on. France can almost reach out and touch it. A place in the quarterfinals for the 4th consecutive time. Mbappe goes down. And we will have a yellow card. Maybe, no. He's reached to his pocket for the spray instead. No yellow card. And Mbappe can't quite believe that.
It's got to be worst case scenario for any defender in the world when you're isolated 1v1 with Kylian Mbappe, because his standing motion to full pace is extraordinary. He's got a burst that very few have in the modern game. And it's a smart decision. Less ideal for Cáceres because he understands the complexity of how much time is remaining in this match.
Yeah, they haven't thrown any players forward there, France, and they'll take the ball to the corner, of course. It will be a corner kick. Well, I don't think the Paraguayan players are too pleased with the fact that Kylian Mbappe is playing with such a smile on his face, but as things stand with 30 seconds left to play, it is Mbappe's penalty that will be the deciding goal in this close fought in terms of scoreline battle, but really it's all been France. A much improved second half from Paraguay. Can they break here? The clock is ticking down, 15 seconds left to play. And France settle things with a second. By the anticipation from the French fans, you can feel it. This is one last chance, you feel, for Paraguay to get the ball long and forward. We are over the 10 additional minutes. They're not happy with the position of Mbappe, and it won't matter. The French machine does indeed march on. A 4th consecutive quarter-final appearance for France. They had to fight for it. A closer than they would have expected. It is the end of the road for Paraguay. They would have dreamed so much of reaching the quarterfinals as they did in 2010, but it is France, the favourites to go all the way through the competition, who had to fight. Ending a long run, scoring more than 2 in every game so far in the World Cup. But they will celebrate. The blue ball of France.